Hi, my name is Tom Woods with R2 Sports Technology. Appreciate you taking a minute to click on the link and explore a little bit more about the things we have to offer. Let's spend a few minutes talking to you about a service we have called GameBreak Scans. And what we're able to do is take scouting information that you guys have generated from your normal film breakdown sessions that you have, and it is contained in the film systems you work with. And we're going to show you how you can take that information and we can perform what we call a scan on it that allows you to very quickly identify every high probability, high confidence tendency that can be found in an opponent or in your own personal self-scouting data. The principles are fairly simple. I just want to start here and show you a typical set of scouting data that you might have in your film system. It might be XOs. In this case, this is an example from a Division I FBS school. It might be Huddle, DB Sport, might be notes you've taken off of a VHS tape. Regardless, as you consolidate and capture the scouting data, typically you probably have a file that looks something like this with a series of plays. In this case, we're looking at about 300 different plays here from a certain opponent that's been scouted, and we're tracking things like down, distance, hash, yard line, formations, backfield sets, motions, where the ball's going, plays that are being run, all this information that you guys capture. So you have these data sets at your hands that you guys work with a lot. But in here, there's a story. And there's a story that can be found that can indicate some very high probability tendencies of an opponent. What we do with a GameBreak scan is, as our clients send us information like this, we have the ability to very quickly explore every possible combination of situational events and record any tendencies that reveal themselves as a high probability tendency. So as an example, oftentimes as a coach, you might have a report that shows you tendencies of an opponent by down or by formation. And it's not too uncommon that you'll find a whole series of 4 or 5 different things that they do out of a certain formation, and the probabilities are like 20%, 15%, 15%. You end up with a bunch of tendencies that you really can't do a whole lot with, just because there's no dominant thing that stands out. And what happens oftentimes with data, especially in your scouting data that you have, is that you may not see a tendency on the basis of first down or second down, on the basis of down. You may not see it by yard line or field position. You may not see it by distance. You may not see it by hash mark. But where you do find these things are in unique combinations of all the above. So you might be able to find tendencies that are where you can see when an opponent's likely to do it 80+% confidence by looking at second down on the right hash in this part of the field out of that formation. Boom, that's where the tendency reveals itself. The challenge is finding those, because it takes a lot of time to get through your data and to find where those things exist. That's what a GameBreak scan is all about. And what we do is we take information like this into our system. We perform a scan against it. What a scan does, very simply, is it automatically looks at every conceivable combination of situational events and automatically finds where those high probability tendencies are. I'm going to show you a scan result here real quick. We generate 2 types of scans. One's called a situational scan. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so you can see what this is. In a situational scan, what we're doing is we're exploring different situational pieces of information, and we're looking at all the different combinations associated with it and trying to identify or trying to predict certain outcomes that might result. A quick example of what we do when we perform one of these scans is a couple quick criteria that we have to establish. I'm going to highlight them right here. You see where it says a minimum number of occurrences and a confidence level. So when we work with a client, we establish a minimum number of occurrences that need to be revealed. In other words, we don't want to generate a whole bunch of tendencies that are 100% tendencies on 2 occurrences or 1 occurrence. Those are pretty much meaningless to us. We're looking for things that happen a lot and that happen with a high degree of confidence. So in this case, when we ran this scan against this D1 team, we set a minimum number of 5. So we're going to look at different situations, but if it's going to make this list, it needs to have happened at least 5 times. We also set a confidence level against it, in this case 80%. So we need something that it'll happen at least 5 times, and it needs to reveal itself with at least 80% confidence to make this list. So what we've done in this case, you'll see it says here, when this team is in the following situations, and in this case, we were scanning by looking at down, distance, hash, personnel, formation, backfields, motions. So what we're doing is we're looking at every conceivable way to combine all those different pieces of information, and there's a lot of them. And with each one of those combinations, we're trying to predict certain outcomes. In this case, play type, routes that might have been run, where the ball was being thrown, who was getting the ball, what type of play was being run, actual play that was being run. So we're looking to see are there certain situations where we can predict with a high degree of confidence not only if they're going to run or pass, but who they're going to throw the ball to, where they're going to throw the ball, those types of things. So once we receive your data, we're able to do the scan, and this is an example of one of the outputs here. And what you'll see as I scroll down through this list real quick are each one of these, see these gray boxes here, each one of these is a unique combination of all those different events, a unique instance where a high probability tendency is revealed. I'll pick one just out of the blue right here. This one here, first down and 10 on the right hash from a bunch open formation with an ace backfield. If we look at that, that tells us we can predict a run with 80% confidence. 5 times they've been in that situation, 4 times they've run the football. So it made our list in that case. Now we can scroll through, and like I said, in this case, there are literally hundreds of them that can be explored. And as you look over here, let me zoom back here a little bit just to kind of allow you to see the entire screen. There are certain instances where we can predict with a high degree of certainty which play is going to be run, who the ball is actually going to go to. In this case, you can see one right here. Zoom in right here at this one. We can predict a 24 lead zone will be run right here when they're in a long situation from a twin closed formation, I back set, with this motion being employed. In that case, the odds are 100% of the time they've run a 24 lead zone in that situation. So things that are difficult to get to, we're able to find just by automatically being able to explore all the different possibilities that exist. These scans get generated literally in less than a minute. So we're able to explore the hundreds and literally thousands of different combinations that exist and identify where these tendencies happen. And what our clients get back, they send us their scouting data, they get these reports back. This is an example of a PDF file. It also gets sent back in the form of an Excel file. So this is that same situational scan here, sent as an Excel file that can be filtered on and explored. So I'll give you a quick example of another situation here. We might want to see, are there specific situations where we can predict with a high degree of confidence where they're going to throw the football. In this case, I'm going to set a filter here for number 19. And there's actually a few occasions here, a few situations where we can predict with a high degree of confidence that they would throw the ball to number 19. Here's an example right here with when there's 9 yards to go and they show a gun far backfield, 100% of the time they've passed the ball to number 19 when they show that look. So that's information that's not common. It's not the kind of information you're going to get from a quick, dirty report or from a quick cursory overview of your data. It comes by being able to explore it at a very detailed level. These are situational scans. Again, what we're doing here is we're looking at situations and we're trying to predict outcomes. And because we automate it, we can look at all of them and we can give you high probability answers. We also run a second scan on every set of data that we get. It's called an outcome scan. And in effect, what we do is we run this backwards. So to give you a quick idea of an outcome scan, in that case, what we do with an outcome scan is we look backwards through desired outcomes. Now, in this case, again, we set a criteria that requires us to establish a minimum number of occurrences for what we're looking for and a certain confidence level to be able to make this list. But in this case, we're going to look and see, hey, are there certain indicators, if we're looking for deep out route families here, our question is, are there certain indicators situationally that tell us when that's likely to happen? So we're looking backwards in this case. And we're going to see, are there high confidence indicators? Here's a perfect example, deep outs in this case. When this team that we're scouting runs deep outs, we can see that here's the situations where they most commonly run deep outs. Now in this case, you'll see 100% of the time, every single deep out they ran in this case was run on first down, first and long, first and 10 situation, and 80% of them will run from the right hash. Now sometimes in working with coaches, there's almost as much power, maybe if not more power, in knowing what a team's not going to do as opposed to what they're going to do. So if you're working with your defensive backs and they're concerned about the deep out, there's a real strong indicator that says, hey, it's first down, right hash is when deep outs come. So if it's second down and 4 on the left hash, odds are you're not going to see a deep out. If you do see a deep out, it'll be the first time they've ever done it. But we're able to unearth those, find those by scouring automatically through your data and looking at all these different possibilities and generating lists like this. Again, this is an example. There's plenty of other things we could see in here. What we'd like to do is if this makes sense, if you have questions, you'd like to learn more about it, if you scroll down to the bottom of our webpage here below this video that's playing, there's a form you can fill out. If you want to send us some of your data, we'll automatically generate a scan for you so you can get a sense of how this works and what it looks like. If you've got some scouting data on an opponent you have coming up, send it over. We'll set some nominal values, and we'll run a kind of a quick and dirty scan for you so you can see what the output looks like. So again, it's all about taking your data and automating the process of looking at every conceivable combination of situational events and being able to accurately and with a high degree of confidence predict outcomes that will result in certain situations. I think it will blow you away with the amount of information you can find, and to be able to start your week with a list this complete of things to look for and where things are going to happen, I think puts you miles ahead in terms of preparing each week for the games that you have coming up. Appreciate you taking a minute to take a look at this. Would love to talk to you more. Again, take a look at that form down below, fill that out, kick it off to us. We'll contact you back. We'd love to generate you a scan and start a conversation with you. Thank you much for taking time. We look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.